we're going to be doing some drumming this week, and trying to figure out how to do that with you guys at home has been a little bit of a challenge, but I think I've come up with a few things that when you come back to the school and we have drums in front of us, then it'll make it easier for you to be able to do what we're doing at that point. But for now, you might need something to use as a drum. I actually just got my stool. Make sure you talk to whoever you're living with, your mom, your dad, your aunt, uncle, whoever is at your house, and let them know that you're about to be whacking on something. But just don't do it really hard, okay? So it's not too loud. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through some of the drumming things that we are doing here. If you want to do this with your family at home, and y'all learn some drumming techniques and doing some things at home, then that might be a little bit fun. I'm going to put the mouse out of the way here off of my drum, and so I'm going to show you. Now, the first thing we need to know before we actually start drumming is how to stop. So when we stop, we'll be playing our drum, whatever we're doing, and then I will say 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. And then we'll just strike our drum with both hands when we do that. So let's practice that. You're just playing along, whatever you're doing. 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. And that's our stopping signal. Now I'm teaching you how to stop before I teach you how to start, because I think starting's not going to be our problem. Most of the time you get a drum in front of you, you want to play it. So we just needed to know how to stop first. Now, for us to start playing, we're going to call this our call to groove, because when you do a drum circle, it's called a groove. And so we're going to call it our call to groove. And so now I will say 1, 2, let's all play. Four, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay? So you see how that works. So when we're playing the drums, I will give you a cue to start, and then we'll do whatever we're doing at that point, and then I will give you the cue to stop. Now the first thing I want us to do, now if you were in my class last year, you already know how to do this. We played with this some last year when we first got the drums, but for those of you who were not in class or that are we're at a younger age that we didn't do this, then I want you to know this. We're going to do something called a rumble. A rumble is just playing your drum as quickly as possible, just like this, okay? So let's practice that. So 1, 2, let's all play. Four, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay? So you see how that works, right? So that is our thing. Now, what we're going to be doing with the rumble is we're going to be playing with our dynamics. Now, it's not going to be quite as dramatic on a stool or a table or anything like that as it would be on a drum. If you happen to have a bucket at home, one of those great big buckets like you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, or just if your dad happens to be a painter and there's an extra bucket hanging around, those will work better for this because you'll be able to tell the louds and the softs. So with this happening, I'm not going to be able to play as much because I'm going to show you how this is going to work. Somebody has to be the leader, which is the person that's going to tell us whether to get loud or soft. And when you're going louder, you're raising your hand up. When you're going softer, you're putting your hands down. So this is how that's going to work. We'll go 1, 2, let's all play. Then we're going to be rumbling, and then the leader is going to go. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay? So that's going to be playing with our dynamics. Now, the next thing would be that another game that we would play would be a call and response game. Now, it's not exactly the same as an echo game, but we'll probably, those of us that are going to be doing it here in school this week will start as an echo, that I will play one thing and they will play something else, play the same thing back. Okay, but then the call and response would be where I would play something and then I will give you instructions as to what type of response I want you to do. So I'm going to play something. I want you to give me a response that ends in ta. Okay, so let me give you an example. I'm going to play it here, then I'm going to do your response here. So I'm going to end in ta on the response. The call, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So I'll decide while I'm playing. So 1, 2, here I play. Four, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay? So you see how that worked? I think I did them all right. I'll have to watch this video and see. But every time I was here, I ended in a ta. Here, sometimes I ended in a TT, sometimes each pattern is 4 beats long. So that would be a call and response. Now, the firecracker is kind of a game where you're doing the rumble, and then every once in a while you have to do it a little bit louder. In class, I'll use my pointer finger and I'll point to somebody, and while they're rumbling, then they'll have to go. That's their firecracker. So whenever you get pointed to, then you would do your firecracker. And so not a lot of reason to practice that, just so you know that that is a game that we will play in the classroom. Now, at times you may be called on to be the leader, and then you get to point to whichever person you want to give the actual firecracker boom in there. Now, the last one is, I'm actually going to get my notes here because this is one I haven't done very much, but I think it's going to be a really good one for us to do. And it's called Breathe to Boom. Breathe to Boom. And this is one that we might do at the end of our drumming time together. And on this, the first thing you do is you're going to take a deep breath and raise your hands. Okay, so that's the first step to that. So then, when you bring your hands down, you'll slide your voice down with your hands as it comes down, okay? And then when you get to your lap or your drum or whatever, then you will go boom at the end. So now the goal is for us all to get to the boom at the same time, which means we've got to be watching with our eyes, be aware of what's going on around us, and listening. So let's see if we can do that. So do it with me. Boom. Okay? So when we're all doing that in class together, then our goal is to see if we can all boom at the same time. Well, I hope this gives you some of the basics of how we're going to be using our drums, at least some of the time. And I look forward to hearing from you what you did at home with this, and then seeing you back in class whenever that happens. All right, see you later.